Hi there, I'm back here with Tom Behrens. Perhaps you recognize him, Mayor of Milwaukee, made it across the pond, if you will, to be here for tonight. Why was it so important that you were here for President Obama's farewell?
Well, I think it's a historic night, and I was fortunate enough to be with him the night he won the Iowa caucus a long time ago, and that was sort of one bookend. This is another bookend, and I think he's been a great president. I think in history we'll judge him to be a very great president. So I wanted to be here tonight to hear what he has to say at this challenging time in our nation's history.
As an elected official yourself, can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges he faced trying to be president of the United States and the things that you thought he did particularly well?
Well, obviously, when he came in, we were in the midst of the worst economic downturn we've had since the Great Depression. And the fact that he was able to steer our country out of that recession into a period of prosperity, right there, I think, speaks volumes. But I can tell you, as a mayor, we had phenomenal relationships with his staff. And it was wonderful as a local elected official to have a White House that cared what mayors thought, what was important for cities, for small towns. And we had regular contact with them, and I really, really appreciated that. I obviously hope that that will continue.
Fantastic performance. As you know, your town was in the national media for some not so pleasant things, dealing with police officers, dealing with criminal justice reform. How has the president, do you feel, navigated that very choppy water, and do you think that's going to continue once he's out of the White House?
Well, I can tell you the city of Milwaukee has entered into an arrangement with the Justice Department under President Obama where we're working on a consent type arrangement where we try to work together to see how we can improve our police department. So we recognize that we have challenges, and we've been working with them, and it's been a fruitful, and we're still hoping, believe it or not, that before he leaves office we'll be able to have an but we've been working very closely with his Department of Justice to see what we can do to improve police community relations in the city of Milwaukee.
Anything that you can think of during these 8 years that he did that disappointed you?
No, and quite to the contrary. I find when Americans look at this, they're going to see a president who both in his personal life and his professional life had an 8-year term of office with no scandals. It's amazing. It's amazing. And now he's going to return to be a normal person. And I think the way you have seen him conduct his personal life as well as his political life speaks volumes of Barack Obama, the man.
He said no scandals. Obviously, his critics will be able to list a few that they consider to be scandals. The Fast and Furious, if you will. Sure. What happened with the V.A.A. Needing to have a new director. Do you think those are blemishes?
I think any administration is going to have departments that have challenges, but I'm speaking in terms of the president himself, that I don't think anybody, even his greatest detractors, are going to attack his character after seeing how he has acted as president for the last 8 years. He's a man, I believe, of great character, and I think that critics and history, more importantly, will judge him very favorably on that account.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Enjoy the rest of the night. You as well.
Okay,
Thank you. So there you have it. His supporters, they see no wrong. And his detractors, well, we know exactly how his detractors feel as well. Let's take a look to see who else has graced the stage. Festivities are just beginning here in the McCormick Place, facility located just outside of downtown Chicago on the south side. I am here now with Pamela Oblisky, who braved the elements outside as it's still rainy and windy and Not a very pleasant Chicago night.
Well, it's better than it has been, so it's not too bad. It's better than 4 feet of snow, right?
Absolutely. Were you one of the ones that stayed outside on Saturday and stood for your tickets?
Well, we actually came, and it wasn't too bad, though, because it's a monumental event, so you don't even think about the weather.
What does it mean to be here tonight? I see you have a sticker right on your chest.
It's close to my heart. I love Obama. I think he's the best president. He is the president for the people.
Why do you feel that way?
Because he has done so much for all type of people. He's not limiting himself to just one type of people, and he's trying to help everybody. The health care, which was a big issue. I'm a registered nurse, so to have insurance and be able to see about yourself, that's just the best thing that could happen.
When you look back on his 8 years, and obviously he's the first African-American president, how do you think his presidency, his administration has impacted the African-American community?
I think it's giving people a lot of hope because they can see if they try hard that they can succeed in anything they want to do. And there's no limits to it. You just have to work hard. Of course, you have to educate yourself. And it gave people a lot of hope.
What would you like to see the president do going forward once he's out of the White House?
I hope he still can have an impact on everybody. I don't want to see him be a silent ex-president. I want him to still have different projects that people can better themselves for. We need somebody who wants to help everybody, all people, not just a certain person or gender. Everybody needs to have some hope.
And final question, what does it mean for you to have lived in a time in which the president was African American?
No words can describe it. I never thought I would see it. That's just the best thing that could have ever happened. Will we see it again in this lifetime? I don't think so. I'm just glad I was able to see this one.
Thank you very much, Pamela, for your time. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
BJ the Chicago Kid to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner again wave?
Hello, Chicago. It's good to be home. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be home. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. All right, everybody sit down. We're on live TV here. I gotta move. Come on. You can tell that I'm you can tell that I'm a lame duck because nobody's following instructions. Everybody have a seat. My fellow Americans, Michelle and I have been so touched by all the well wishes that we've received over the past few weeks. But tonight it's my turn to say thanks. Whether we have seen eye to eye or rarely agreed at all, my conversations with you, the American people, in living rooms and in schools, at farms, on factory floors, at diners, and on distant military outposts. Those conversations are what have kept me honest and kept me inspired and kept me going. And every day I have learned from you. You made me a better president, and you made me a better man. So I first came to Chicago when I was in my early 20s, and I was still trying to figure out who I was, still searching for a purpose in my life. And it was the neighborhood not far from here where I began working with church groups in the shadows of closed steel mills. It was on these streets where I witnessed the power of faith and the quiet dignity of working people in the face of struggle and loss. I can't do that. Now, this is where I learned that change only happens when ordinary people get involved and they get engaged and they come together to demand it. After 8 years as your president, I still believe that. And it's not just my belief. It's the beating heart of our American idea, our bold experiment in self-government. It's the conviction that we are all created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's the insistence that these rights, while self-evident, have never been self-executing. That we, the people, through the instrument of our democracy, can form a more perfect union. What a radical idea. The great gift that our founders gave to us. The freedom to chase our individual dreams through our sweat and toil and imagination, and the imperative to strive together as well to achieve a common good, a greater good. For 240 years, our nation's call to citizenship has given work and purpose to each new generation. It's what led patriots to choose republic over tyranny, pioneers to trek west, slaves to brave that makeshift railroad to freedom. It's what pulled immigrants and refugees across oceans and the Rio Grande. It's what pushed women to reach for the ballot. It's what powered workers to organize. It's why GIs gave their lives at Omaha Beach and Iwo Jima, Iraq, and Afghanistan. And why men and women from Selma to Stonewall were prepared to give theirs as well. So that's what we mean when we say America's exceptional. Not that our nation's been flawless from the start, but that we have shown the capacity to change and make life better for those who follow. Yes, our progress has been uneven. The work of democracy has always been hard. It's always been contentious. Sometimes it's been bloody. For every 2 steps forward, it often feels we take 1 step back. But the long sweep of America has been defined by forward motion, a constant widening of our founding creed to embrace all, and not just some. If I had told you 8 years ago that America would reverse a Great Recession, reboot our auto industry, and unleash the longest stretch of job creation in our history, if I had told you that we would open up a new chapter with the Cuban people, shut down Iran's nuclear weapons program without firing a shot, take out the mastermind of 9/11. If I had told you that we would win marriage equality and secure the right to health insurance for another 20 million of our fellow citizens, if I had told you all that, you might have said, our sights were set a little too high. But that's what we did. That's what you did. You were the change. You answered people's hopes, and because of you, by almost every measure, America is a better, stronger place than it was when we started. In 10 days, the world will witness a hallmark of our democracy. No. The peaceful transfer of power from one freely elected president to the next. I committed to President-elect Trump that my administration would ensure the smoothest possible transition, just as President Bush did for me. Because it's up to all of us to make sure our government can help us meet the many challenges we still face. We have what we need to do so. We have everything we need to meet those challenges. After all, we remain the wealthiest, most powerful, and most respected nation on earth. Our youth, our drive, our diversity and openness, our boundless capacity for risk and reinvention means that the future should be ours. But that potential will only be realized if our democracy works. Only if our politics better reflects the decency of our people. Only if all of us, regardless of party affiliation or particular interests, help restore the sense of common purpose that we so badly need right now. And that's what I want to focus on tonight: the state of our democracy. Understand, democracy does not require uniformity. Our founders argued, they quarreled, eventually they compromised. They expected us to do the same. But they knew that democracy does require a basic sense of solidarity. The idea that for all our outward differences, we're all in this together, that we rise or fall as one. There have been moments throughout our history that threatened that solidarity. And the beginning of this century has been one of those times. A shrinking world, growing inequality, demographic change, and the specter of terrorism. These forces haven't just tested our security and our prosperity, but are testing our democracy as well.